you so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my talk, From Zero to Cyber Hero, a non-techie's guide to breaking into cybersecurity. A little background on what started this journey. Before I started in cybersecurity, I was that person that would be scrolling online, and I'll see a post with a catchy phrase like, "You've won a free iPhone," or "click here to win a free iPhone," and I'll click on it, enter my personal details, because who doesn't like free stuff? Until I got that one scam call. I used to also be that person that had the same password for almost all my accounts. But don't worry, I've learned a thing or two since then. So you can imagine how surreal it feels for me to be standing here, a lawyer or a former lawyer, depending on how you look at it, talking about cybersecurity, threat intelligence, competitions. But that's exactly why I'm here, to show you that your path into cybersecurity might be more possible than you think. So a quick raise of hand if you're looking to go into cyber, or you're already on that path like me. Yeah? Look around you. That's exactly why this conversation matters. You sure?
Sorry. Will?
Okay. A quick run through of what my talk will be about. I'll be sharing key things that has helped me on this journey, and I've also compiled a few resources that I feel will be useful for you on your journey as well, that I'll share at the end of my talk. Now, the big question is, why is cybersecurity looking for you? And me, because I'm still on that journey. The 2024 ISC2 Cybersecurity Workforce Study shows that there has been a 19% global cybersecurity workforce gap and about 4.8 million cybersecurity positions to fill. Now here's the exciting part. Non-technical backgrounds has a role to play in that as well. As another study shows that despite a majority of cybersecurity professionals having IT backgrounds, about 23% of those cybersecurity professionals started their career originally from a non-IT field. I'm Egonna-Bristol, and about 18 months ago, I was a lawyer thinking about where to even begin with cybersecurity. I had about 6 years in my legal experience, and here I was thinking about how to begin. Today, I've won cybersecurity competition. I've completed my master's in cybercrime and cybersecurity. I've conducted primary research on AI-driven deepfakes. I've gotten some work experience in threat intelligence. And I started a Women in Cybersecurity chapter at the University of Surrey. Now, the journey between those 2 points, that's what we're here to talk about. I'll say my turning point started with that scam call, when someone pretending to be my account officer tried to access my account. And it was actually quite embarrassing. And coincidentally, I was dealing with a client's breach issue at work. That was really eye-opening. And that really piqued my interest in cybersecurity. Now, the first few months of learning cybersecurity were honestly very overwhelming. I remember researching widely on how to start, and I had spoken to a few people. Some didn't take me seriously, obviously, but some others actually took me seriously, like my sister, bless her. She one day just sent me a link about an academy program where they wanted to get people who wanted to study career in cybersecurity. And I applied for it without having any expectations. And I was pleasantly surprised when I was among the few selected for that program. But here's the challenge. I was still working as a lawyer full-time, and that program required completing 6 courses in about 2.5 months with project labs and deadlines for the exams. You literally had to finish 1 course before you went on to the next course. And those courses ranged from intro to cybersecurity to cyber threat management to cloud security. But that's the thing. What I realized was that my legal background wasn't a challenge. That analytical thinking, that ability to spot patterns, that investigative skills, the obligation as a lawyer to protect sensitive information and clients' data, that is exactly what cyber needs. So now, think about your current skills. The skills I use daily, they translate, literally. I would say my experience in analyzing legal cases, precedents, can easily translate into security investigations. How about writing court briefs and drafting policies? That's easily risk and intelligence reports. How about client communication? We all communicate with clients. That's easily security awareness training. So if you want to start, one key thing I can say is that you need to have a curious mindset. That curiosity alone will lead you and make you want to learn the fundamentals. And that would also take you further to want to gain hands-on experience in cybersecurity. For gaining experience, there are a few things that helped me on my journey that I can share with you. One was a competition. The other was gaining work experience, doing project labs, and attending security conferences just like this one. The workshops, they are really important and they can really help you. Let me tell you about my first social engineering competition. I was terrified. Here I was, a lawyer, doing her MSc, competing against people who have been coding for years, and definitely more technical than I was. Talk about imposter syndrome. But something unexpected happened. That competition involved analyzing a simulated phishing attack, conducting investigations using OSINT and the meta attack framework, conducting interviews as well with parties, and writing client recommendations at the end of the 3-day competition. And my team won, not because of technical expertise, because we didn't have any, but because of something different. Understanding human behavior and communicating confidently. That's literally what social engineering is about. This experience made me more confident, and I started to attend more industry conferences, security events, networking, and it was through one of those conferences that I actually landed a role in threat intelligence, a work experience during my MSc. Through networking and following up actively. I remember someone at the conference that I met actually told me, "You're putting in the work, and that shows a lot." And in my mind, I was like, okay, give me an opportunity. But he didn't give me an opportunity. But those words actually stuck with me, and they made me go further to volunteer for more projects. I earned my Security Plus certification while doing my dissertation. I continued to apply for internships, even though they wouldn't take me. But I applied. And because one thing I realized that with cyber, it's a learning process. You have to keep learning and doing things to learn. But that's not the only thing that cybersecurity offers. The beautiful thing about cybersecurity is that there's so many paths that you can follow. There's so many paths that you can go with based on your strengths. While I have some experience in threat intelligence and risk compliance based on my past role, there are different career paths that you can go with. Security operations, governance and risk management. If you've been doing policies and regulations, you can easily fall into that part. Threat intelligence, data protection and privacy, incident response, and a host of all others. The UK Cybersecurity Council, with the website, has about 15 cyber paths that you can look at, which is a resource that I'm going to share at the end of my talk as well. I'll say the key is finding your strength and fitting into one of these paths. But here's the thing I wish someone had told me from the start. You don't have to do everything at once. You literally need to focus on some key areas. For example, core business knowledge. You probably already do that with your current role. Communication skills. We communicate. I'm sure you're communicating with somebody next to you right now. Risk analysis. You just have to have an analytical mind and you'll be okay. Security tools basics. You can start small and build up. Project management. You're probably doing that in your daily activities as well. Certification. That could be your technical milestone if you wanted to. Regulations. You can just have a foundation knowledge of it. GDPR. Professional portfolio. I'll say you really need to document your journey because that would help you when the jobs are not coming along. Now, let me share something else that has also helped me on this journey. You see the power of community. It's been game-changing. For me, it was Women in Cybersecurity, WISIS. They're a global organization, and they promote diversity and inclusivity. When I joined them, I realized that there were about only 6 UK universities affiliated with them, and I decided to start one at the University of Surrey. And that experience has been really game-changing for me. One of the things I would say that community does for you, mentorship, peer learning, networking professionals, they are very important on your journey. Let me share what the power of community has done for me. When we had our first event on campus, it was the WISIS UK and Ireland community that supported us with industry speakers. How about the competition I participated in? I met my teammate online. She's based in the United States, and she's been my friend since then. How about the conference I attended that I got the threat intelligence work experience? It was through my community I found out about the conference and registered because they were exhibiting at that event. There's so many other things that the community can do for you, but one other thing is very important. Every person in cyber remembers what it's like to start. So they're always willing to guide, to mentor, to help out wherever they can. And that's what the community can do for you. This is why I'm passionate about building these spaces. Because it's not just about knowledge sharing. It's about finding your people, those who can help you through the tough times, those who can share job opportunities for you. Remember those hands that were raised earlier? That's your community right here. You can start to build on that, literally. You might be thinking now, what's your next step? I'll say just start. Just start. Network, network, network. Research on different specialization areas. And that's how you find where you actually want to be. Tailor your resume and apply ambitiously, even though you don't tick all the boxes. Put yourself out there because it definitely takes a different kind of skill for non-technical backgrounds to actually land a role in cyber. That's the honest truth. But it's possible. I've gathered a few resources that you can access through this QR code, and it can help you in your journey as well. I really want to thank the organizers of this event because they've been really helpful, and my mentor, Ian Davies, for guiding me through this presentation. What I want to leave you with, the most important part is that your non-technical background is not a barrier. It's your unique advantage. So you should always remember that. Let's connect and continue this conversation. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Oh, Hands are going up. Right, okay, I'll take the mic over to you.
Hi, thank you for the talk. I just wanted to ask if your degree, is that something that you wanted to do, your master's, or do you feel like that's kind of a stepping stone to land the job?
Okay, for my master's, I really wanted to do cybercrime and cybersecurity. I wanted to do something related to cybercrime and cybersecurity. I didn't see any university that had that except University of Surrey. So that's why it was like my first choice. When I researched on what I wanted to do, I was quite terrified because I didn't want to do something just cybersecurity alone. And then cybercrime kind of like is related to law in a similar way. So it's something I could easily just transfer into. That was why I decided to take cybercrime and cybersecurity. Yeah.
Okay, so background is 20 years in construction management, project management, sales. COVID made a shift for me, and I've been in cybersecurity for the last 3 years. When I moved into it, it was so daunting of how vast the landscape was. But then when you find your niche, then the depth at which it goes is like absolutely insane. Have you decided on your path yet, or are you still, even now, trying to figure it out? And for everyone else in the room as well, in terms of the resources that are out there, YouTube and Udemy, in terms of online courses, are phenomenal just to get you, even noticed. But like you say, community is everything. But have you decided on a niche yet, or are you still exploring?
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I remember when I was starting out, I had spoken to a couple of people, and one of the key things that someone told me, who I see as a mentor actually as well, she told me that try not to put yourself in a box when you're starting out. It's always just good to explore everything. So just be open to any cyber path. It's very challenging where you immediately put yourself in a box when you can actually be in another area. So it's good to just start from just open yourself to any opportunity as well and just get in. And when you get in and you try your hands on a few things, you'll be able to figure out which path you want to go into. But as we are currently just transitioning into cybersecurity, it's more advisable to not put yourself in a box. Just have an open mind. That's the best I can give, yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I just want to ask which certificates helped you the most on your journey to the cybersecurity field?
Okay. I've currently just done one certification, which is the Security Plus certification. That has really helped me because that gave me a very wide idea about the entire cybersecurity framework. That has been very helpful. And then I had the previous course I did. It was the NetAcad Academy with Ingressive for Good. I attach it in those resources as well, in case you want to just look through it. There's some certifications there that you can look through and just figure out which one you want to do. But it really depends on you and what you want to do, honestly. Sometimes they say Security Plus is not compulsory, but if you're like me and looking at job roles right now, everyone there just either says, have CISM, have Security Plus, have something. There's always, the roles require certification. So I think if you just want to have an edge, you just go for it. Yeah.
Right, I think that's all we've got time for. If you're staying in for the next talk, then stick around. If you're not, if you could make your way out.
Thank you so much.
Quickly. Thank you very much, Egonna.